Somewhere deep in the Ozark woods lurks the two people everyone tries to avoid the most. If you're not careful, they may find you before you find them. Okay, good morning, guys. Actually, it's afternoon. It's almost 4 o'clock. I just got through uploading 10 more videos to the page, so hopefully you all will have already checked them out by the time I get this uploaded, because we still have not started on the bulk video. All we did was clean up some shorts that I had made while I was out in the oil field, so some of those are a few years old. But anyway, we cleaned those up and got them loaded. It was our first time loading to YouTube, so it was an experience in and of itself. And so we still got, hours, an hour. I think there's at least 40 hours of bulk video that we've got to go through. So we'll have, if all goes well, we'll have a couple hundred videos loaded in no time at all once we get this whole editing process worked out and figured out and get past our learning curve. But it's fun. It's keeping us young and healthy. Anyway, it is December 18th, 2021, 3:48 p.m. Just over looking to see what has been posted for me to watch and rant about. Liberal Hivemind, bombshell, Adam Schiff caught faking evidence to incriminate Trump. I don't doubt this at all. These people are so fucking crooked that they'll do whatever they need to do to win. They don't care. They have no honesty. They have no integrity. There's no integrity whatsoever in these people. Win at all costs. The ends justify the means as far as they're concerned. They have no chivalry. They have no honor. They have no integrity. So anyway, let's continue. And turn this down. Turn this down so I don't blow my eardrums out. We got good. Okay, so, like I said, this is Adam Schiff caught faking evidence to incriminate Trump associate. Here's the information for Grandma if she needs it. And here's our timestamp down here to show when we watched it. This thing was released just within the last hour, just a few minutes ago, I believe. It's already got 7,500 views. This young man's got it going on. He's got 856,000 subscribers. I got 4. What for? Because they like me. That's what for. All right, anyway, let's get back to the movie, or to the program.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Are Democrats ever going to realize that the people that they trust for accurate information are the biggest liars, the biggest con artists? Nah, probably not. But the man that they've been going to, the man that they've been relying on for accurate information on Russiagate, his weekly updates with Rachel Maddow on MSNBC, is of course Adam Schiff. But what Democrats don't seem to realize is that Adam Schiff may be one of the biggest liars in politics. Now, I say that all the time referring to so many different Democrats. It's kind of hard to say who's the worst. They're all so bad. They're all so despicably dishonest. But Adam Schiff is definitely in the top 10. I mean, we all remember when he presented a phone call between Donald Trump and the Ukrainian president, and on the record, on the House floor, basically paraphrased the whole thing, but twisted the context to make Donald Trump look like some mafioso.
I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent, understand lots of it. This is, in sum and character, what the president was trying to communicate.
That was you making up dialogue, putting it in the president's mouth. If the facts are as damning as you say, why make up dialogue for dramatic effect, even if it's a parody, as you say?
straight up manipulation of evidence. Well, if
Yeah,
you thought that
he's
was
a
just
fucking
small
liar.
thing, a one-off thing, of course, you'd be wrong. That's more like Adam Schiff's MO, his modus operandi. That's what Adam Schiff does. That's the value that he brings to the Democrat Party, being the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, who's willing to stoop to any level and completely sacrifice his credibility in order to push party propaganda. And here we go again, as Adam Schiff is now confirmed to have shared doctored evidence in an effort to help Nancy Pelosi's disgraced 1-6 commission get out of the metaphorical dumpster that it's been in for the last couple of months. Let me show you guys all this crazy partisan hackery. Let's continue to call out these corrupt Washington goons, but before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers, and with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so take a look at this. Busted, Adam Schiff appears to fake evidence in text messages at January 6th committee. Representative Adam Schiff, Democrat from California, appears to have doctored evidence that he cited in Monday evening's hearing at the January 6th committee, just as Schiff infamously did during the impeachment investigation into President Donald Trump in 2019. The committee was discussing its motion that former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows be held in contempt of Congress for refusing to hand over information over which Trump has exerted executive privilege. The Federalist reports, however, that Schiff doctored text messages he presented to the committee, altering the text and creating the false impression in a visual presentation that he was quoting original text messages rather than fabrications. Sean Davis reports during a hearing on Monday night on the riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, Adam Schiff claimed to have proof that a member of Congress texted former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to instruct former Vice President Mike Pence to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. Not only did Adam Schiff misrepresent the substance of the text message and its source, he even doctored original text messages which were obtained and reviewed by the Federalist in their entirety. One message that Schiff attributed to a Republican lawmaker was doctored to read, on January 6, 2021, Vice President Mike Pence, as President of the Senate, should call out all electoral votes that he believes are unconstitutional as no electoral votes at all. But the original message came from former Department of Defense Inspector General Joseph Schmitz, who had drafted and summarized legal arguments that Representative Jim Jordan forwarded to Meadows. And Schiff left out the full exchange, which read as follows. What's written here in bold is the context that Adam Schiff deliberately left out of his presentation. In accordance with guidance from Founding Father Alexander Hamilton and judicial precedents, no legislative act, wrote Alexander Hamilton in Federalist number 78, contrary to the Constitution can be valid. The court in Hubbard versus Lowe reinforced this truth, that an unconstitutional statute is not a law at all, is a proposition no longer open to discussion. Appeal dismissed. Following this rationale, an unconstitutionally appointed elector, like an unconstitutionally elected statute, is no elector at all. Schiff omitted the portions in bold above, which referred to a legal basis for rejecting electors, as Davis reported. In his statement and on-screen graphic, Schiff erased the final two paragraphs and the final clause of the first paragraph of the text message before inserting punctuation that was never there, all without disclosing what he was doing. The graphic displayed by Schiff, which was doctored to look like an exact screenshot, was similarly doctored as it contained content that was never in the original message and eliminated content that was. And so the question that we constantly ask ourselves is, how do these two things simultaneously make sense? The Democrats claim that they have unequivocal evidence, that it's undeniable that Donald Trump and his administration are guilty of what they are accused of. That's part one, that it's undeniable. But seemingly, in order to prove guilt, they constantly need to doctor evidence in order to make the argument. If you have a strong argument, then you
And I caught these motherfuckers doing, okay, not these individuals, but the same people on the same side with the same agenda doing the same thing with scientific data. They were fucking doctoring it, throwing it out, mislabeling it, twisting it to prove every point that they wanted to prove on their climate change theory. They couldn't use the original data because the original data didn't support their position, so they fucking twist it. No, these bastards cannot be trusted at all. This is just bullshit. This is bullshit. The means, the outcome does not justify the means. You don't do the right thing for the wrong reason, and you don't do the wrong thing for the right reason. You know, Hitler thought that he was doing the greatest thing that he could do for his country, and look where it ended up. No. These people are just, they're the same because they believe in the same, they're on the same freaking side of the fence that Hitler was on. They're socialists. They believe the same thing. When will people get that into their head? They believe in the same ideology that the Nazis believed in because they are socialists. This is what they believe. And they're pushing it the same way. They're already developing these concentration camps where they're not in this country yet. Australia, they've got them locking people up that won't follow their orders, and they rant and rave about the stuff that was done during World War II with the detainment camps where we detained Germans and we detained the Japanese Americans and the German Americans. We detained them because we didn't know a way that we could trust them, and we believed that we should err on the side of caution and safety. Was what they did right? No, it wasn't. There were other ways we could have handled it. I'm in no way condoning what was done, but I understand why it was done. This, on the other hand, there's no justification for this. There's no justification whatsoever. They sit there and they rant and they rave about criminals being prosecuted on falsified information, and we shouldn't do this. This is the reason why we shouldn't have the death penalty, because we shouldn't put people to death just on the case that there was a mistake made or new evidence. I agree with that. Not everybody needs to be put to death, but there are certain circumstances where the death penalty is not only warranted, but it's needed. Okay? He's trying to falsify information to force somebody into the death penalty, kill them, their political career and their life and their ability to make it. They're trying to destroy them, just the same as somebody was trying to be put to death in the gas chamber or the electric chair, or be hung or be shot. They're doing the same freaking thing by manipulating information and manipulating evidence to get what they want. They have no integrity whatsoever.
Shouldn't have to lie. If you have a strong case, then you shouldn't need fake evidence. You wouldn't need to doctor anything. It just goes to show how truly dishonest they are. He presented a very small snippet to make it seem as if this whole thing was a coup. All it was just one person's opinion, sending a text message to Mark Meadows, citing what you believe is legal precedent, making a legal.
I mean, we had a guy that was his job was to gather data. That was all his job was to gather data. It was not even to analyze that data. He was just supposed to gather it. But he rejected data that he saw would not fit the storyline that he wanted the data to lead, and he classified them as outliers in the statistical analysis. Well, these were outliers, so I was justified in throwing them out. Well, by the time you adjust it and throw out the first analysis, you get a bunch of outliers. You say, okay, these are oddballs. We're going to have to look at them, explain them, and explain why they exist. They need to be explained, but right now, for the crunching of the numbers, these outliers are going to be set aside. Set them aside. So then what he did is he would rerun the data and then get a new batch of outliers. Oh, well, we've got these outliers. We need to... And he kept doing this until he got the data whittled down to the data that he actually wanted to submit, because it proved his point. As far as he, in his mind, it proved his point. And he just kept whittling and finally got it down to where all of the shit that he felt was detrimental to his ultimate goal, they became outliers in his statistical analysis. So then he justified and he didn't throw them away. He put them in another package as outliers. And it took us months to go through all of this data and reestablish what was not a true outlier in the statistical analysis. We had to check his algorithm. We had to check all of his, everything. Basically, the man was worthless. He was an activist. He wasn't a scientist. Anytime you changed information and data to match a preconceived belief, then you were an activist. You were actively manipulating information to make your point look more appealing or make your point look accurate. They're frauds.
Argument hardly sounds like an undemocratic insurrection now, doesn't it? This entire thing is blowing up in their face, and now it's confirmed that the January 6th committee admits that it doctored a Republican text message in Adam Schiff's presentation. They're not even denying it. As Sean Hannity reports on his website, another Schiff show, Select Committee, quote, regrets using doctored text message in January 6 probe. I mean, you think? So let me get this straight. Donald Trump is so guilty, the evidence is so undeniable, that on Monday, Liz Cheney presents evidence through text messages that essentially completely exonerate Mark Meadows and completely exonerate the president, absolutely demolishes their entire argument that this was some sort of organized coup, as literally everybody involved was panicking at the moment, saying, make it stop. And Donald Trump himself swiftly reacted. And then the next key piece of evidence that really sets it over the top happens to be completely out of context and doctored, and once again, not evidence. In fact, you probably have a mistrial at this point, and that would be the bare minimum. But due process and true justice, equal justice, of course the Democrats don't want that. They want to continue with these bogus witch hunts. I mean, take a look at what former Democrat Senator Barbara Boxer says. If Trump could stop the January 6th riot, it proves that he started it. I mean, talk about a leap. Talk about a total lack of logic. If he could stop it, then it proves that he started it. So you're telling me that firefighters who show up to the scene and stop raging fires, you're telling me that they're guilty? It proves that they started it because they have the power to stop it. Therefore, firefighters are arsonists. I mean, that's essentially the line of thinking. That's the line of logic. In other words, it's dumb and not an argument at all, and just proves how disingenuous these people really are. Joe Biden chimes in and says, Mark Meadows, worthy of being held in contempt of Congress. Oh, well, that pretty much settles it. The guy who pooped his pants in front of the Pope, a real legal expert, the guy who conned his way through law school, the guy who, as you can see right over here, earned a Juris Doctor from Syracuse University, College of Law, and ranked number 76 in his class of 85 after failing a course due to an acknowledged mistake when he plagiarized a law review article for a paper that he wrote in his first year of law school. The plagiarist, brain-melting poopy pants man said it, so then it must be true. Absolutely crazy, folks. This entire thing is nothing but another witch hunt. They have absolutely no argument whatsoever to prove what they want to prove, but they want to prove it so bad that they are willing to stoop to such levels to fake evidence. If that doesn't tell you that this is a kangaroo court, that it's never been bipartisan, as Nancy Pelosi states. It's been nothing but a witch hunt with the aim of proving guilt and completely disregarding any chance at innocence. If this doesn't prove it, then I don't know what will, and you are not paying attention. The evidence is clear, the verdict is not guilty, and the evidence that I'm referring to is actually just what Liz Cheney showed us on Monday. The fact that taxpayer dollars are being spent on this absolutely bogus committee is a complete disgrace. But of course, that's what I got. You guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like.
Okay, did I pull this up so Grandma could get her stuff? Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm going to have to end this. We're already at 17 minutes until we get verified. We can't load a video longer than 15, so she's going to have to trim this down as it is. You can't believe them. Don't believe them. They're just, whenever they start spewing out stuff, make sure you go to the other side and look, no matter what it is, right or left. Look at both sides. Find all the information and check it out for yourself. You know, yes, you can find some people that you trust to some level of, and some degree, and listen to their commentary, but just use that as a tool. Don't rely on them. Don't even rely on me. Okay, I get shit wrong. I'm wrong probably just about as often as I am right. But the times that I'm wrong, it's just because I've been given bad information. It's not bad judgment. It's bad information. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. Anyway, love you guys. Hope your day's going great. Remember, enjoy how bad it is now, because it's going to be worse tomorrow. Love you.